Hey, this is Elizabeth Potts-Weinstein, and today on Legal Your Truth, we're going to be talking about what to do if you're starting a business, launching a product, launching a service, and the name you picked is already being used by someone else. So the first thing you should do if you're starting a new thing, business, program, service, event, product, whatever it is make sure no one else is already using that name. And do this before you start buying domain names or whatever. And I did a video about this before. So let's say you do that search. You do it yourself. You Google. You go on the Patent and Trademark Office's trademark database, whatever it is, or you pay a lawyer to do this. And something comes back. Somebody else is using either the same word or phrase or something kind of close. What should you do? So there's a couple of factors that you want to think about. First is the easy question is there another name you'd rather use that no one else is using? Because if you're not like super attached to this name, then oh my gosh, find another name that no one else is using, okay? You don't want to have to deal with this issue unless it's really worth it for you. Okay, so obviously. Second is it a registered trademark? Or is this a common law trademark? What do I mean by that? Registered trademark is a trademark that's actually someone applied at the Patent and Trademark Office and got a registered trademark. That means that they have rights everywhere in the United States. That's very different than someone who happens to have the same name, but they haven't registered the trademark. They just use it online or they use it as the name of their storefront or the name of their business or product, but they actually haven't registered the trademark. In that case, they have only common law rights over where they've been using it in commerce. So it may be in their city or their state. They may be using it online, so it may be, kind of everywhere, but it's a different question if someone has registered a trademark than it's everywhere in the United States. Another question is, are you guys in the same location? And this really applies to brick and mortars. So if they have not registered a trademark and they are New York, and they just operate in New York, you're here in California. Maybe you both have websites, but you don't sell your products over the internet or anything. It's just, a brochure kind of website because you're both dry cleaners or something, something that has to be done in person. Then I'm not that worried about it. And you don't have a plan to expand there. They don't have a plan to expand here. Very different than if you're both selling stuff online or both doing business everywhere. Are they big or are they small? So the bigger someone is, the more if they have registered trademarks, the more sophisticated, the more lawyers they have, the more they're paying attention, the more that they're going to have automatic services that will find you, the more likely that they have the resources to diligently police their trademarks versus someone who's much more of a small fry. That's not a slam dunk that you should still do it, but it is definitely something to consider. You want to look at, are you guys in the same industry or a similar industry? So, for example, there's this case that I just was reading about Apple Core. So this guy has a startup called Apple Core where it's like for cords, like cords. Where it's like some kind of organizer for your cords. And he called it Apple Core, cords, core, huh? Well, Apple, Incorporated, Apple Computer, is not happy with him and sued him and all this stuff. Now, Apple Computer isn't in the business necessarily of organizing cords. However, very complementary businesses, right? They could be in the business of organizing cords. I mean, I don't have it here in front of me, but how if you have a laptop, it has this little things that come out on the cord where you can wrap it up. I mean, you could envision that you could be going to the Apple store and they could have an Apple cord organizer that has a little apple on it, right? That's not impossible to think about. So while it's not exactly the same industry, this guy isn't selling computers or phones or all the other tons of things that Apple does. It's totally foreseeable that these are very complementary, and in the eye of the consumer, they may think Apple Core is part of Apple Computer, right? Is the trademark famous? So this is something that does impact also the whole industry thing and the location thing. You have certain trademarks that are famous. Apple would be one of them. Facebook is another one, where even outside of their industry, you might not be able to use the same word. Versus another place where you have a trademark that's not famous. It's the trademark. I'm looking around trying to find unfamous trademarks on my desktop, and I can't find any of them. Because these are all famous trademarks that are sitting here on my computer. Okay, let me give you an example. So, because can be a bit of a hippie. So I have these oracle cards sitting on my desk. And, these goddess guidance oracle cards, probably not a good example of a trademark. It's probably not trademarkable because it's very descriptive. But let's say she had a trademark over this phrase. Well, this isn't a famous trademark. Like, people like me who are like into this kind of stuff, and if you're someone who's in that kind of stuff, will totally know who she is and know about these, oracle cards or whatever. Your average person on the street is not going to know anything about oracle cards, right? They're like, oh, dude, I don't know anything about stat stuff. That's like hippie stuff. So that's not famous, like generally known among everybody. So the trademark that she would theoretically have over this is really going to just apply to like hippie stuff. It's going to apply to oracle cards and tarot cards and all the stuff like that. It's not going to apply to computers. Okay, it's not going to apply to shoes. A famous trademark, and that actually has a legal definition. A famous trademark, like Facebook, like Google, like Apple, like Microsoft, like Pepsi, Coca-Cola. These are trademarks that don't just necessarily apply in their industry. It can apply a wide range of things. Now, of course, all these companies actually do have a wide range of things that they're doing. Maybe Facebook, not as much, but definitely Apple, definitely Coca-Cola. I mean, they sell t-shirts and stuff, right? Or they're licensing them out at least. Much more broad protection. So if you're a business owner and you've done a search or you've paid a lawyer to do a search and your word or phrase is already being used by someone else, this is one of those cases where if you do decide to go forward on this, I do recommend that you talk to an attorney first. Because if you're going to spend money and time and energy and your brand equity on your goodwill and everything, on domains and websites and launching and all this stuff, you want to have first spend a little money on a lawyer to make sure that you're not setting yourself up, for a lawsuit, but more likely you won't let go to the point of a lawsuit. You'll have to just shut down that project and come up with a new name. Again, this is Elizabeth Potts Weinstein. If you would like any more tips about trademark law or any other issues that are applicable to small business owners, you can go to elizabethpw.com, or you can find me on Twitter or Facebook as ElizabethPW. Thanks a lot.